I have a headache, but only when I cough.
Yeah.
It's in my right temple. Am I gonna die?
Well, all right.
All right. What number is Dazed and Confused on your thing?
What?
What number is Dazed and Confused on your movie list?
Oh, let's check.
So I did my all right. No Matthew McConaughey, but close enough.
It's number 139.
Okay. Still a bit out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This week is going to be 193. So we've
you're
got
going
50
that
some
way.
to go.
That way.
Yeah, we're starting at the bottom.
Yeah.
Working our way to number 1, the most essential movie.
I don't want to sneak a look at the list, but I also want to.
Yeah, I didn't catch any of that.
Oh.
It's all jumbled. I can't understand it.
Do you want me to restart my computer?
I don't think that will help. I mean, it happens every week.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just usually only like once or twice.
Well, hopefully that was it.
Maybe.
Should we start?
I guess we finished the first season of The Secret Life of the American Teenager.
A lot occurred this season.
Well, yeah.
But I guess it is.
A baby appeared.
Well, and it's also a whole school year, if you think of it. 9 months. Is there a cat?
Well, she got pregnant in the summer.
Or is that just fur?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's Zappa.
At first I thought it was a shoulder, and I was like, who's there? Hi, Zappa boy. I guess you can't hear me. Handsome.
Yeah. He's watching over his kingdom.
I had to lock my children out.
That's too bad.
I like to jump on laptops.
So do mine.
All right. So, yeah, we finished the first season. What?
All those mouth noises and ice chinking and...
Sorry, I won't take another sip.
Yeah, I realized after Taylor guest starred on Friday, I'm going to have to make a rule of no glasses with ice in them.
Stick to cans.
Because that was so annoying.
Sorry. I guess I could get a straw, but... Okay, so this section was only 5 episodes.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, but still, I mean, not a lot happened, but a lot did happen, if that makes sense. Like, there wasn't a gazillion storylines as normal. Sorry.
I didn't catch any of that again.
Should I just restart my computer?
I don't know if it'll fix anything.
What do you want me to do?
We already started.
Only 4 minutes. What do you want me to do?
I don't know. There's nothing you can't do.
It's not usually this bad.
What?
It's not usually this bad.
No.
I can unplug my headset.
The weird thing is that it's normal on the recording.
Oh, so that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just in the moment, I can't understand what you're saying.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well,
what'd you say?
I said, not a lot happened in these episodes, but a lot did happen, if that makes sense. Like, there isn't a ton of storylines happening.
Yeah, because it was the big birth.
Right. So that was easier to follow along to than when we have Adrian finding dads and Ricky doing something and everyone doing something. They were all just kind of together.
Yeah. Which was nice.
Yeah. Should we start with episode 19? I don't have IMDb.
Yeah. Episode 19, Interference. Ethan is convinced. Never mind.
Who's
Wrong
Ethan?
season. Wrong season.
Who was Ethan? Well, now we know.
Season 1, episode 19. Money for nothing, chicks for free. Anne wants Amy to join her in looking for jobs. Thomas gets Ashley to invite him for a visit. Grace gets an idea on how Adrian can lure her stepbrother to have sex with her. Jack is selling candy bars for real. As if he was pretend selling them.
Well, despite all of that, this episode starts with Anne in a power suit.
Another power suit.
Yes, she's the new queen of power suits. And George likes to make fun of that.
And Ashley ran away again.
Kinda. I mean, so it kind of starts out, Anne's in the kitchen, George is making fun of her power suit. And then the phone rings, and Ashley's new friend from the bus stop, Thomas, is calling, asking to speak to Ashley, but Ashley's nowhere to be found. But
they couldn't get too creative on his name either. We already have a Tom. Now we've got a Thomas.
Yeah, it could have been an A name, but those might be just for girls.
Yeah.
But we know an Ethan's coming now, so...
At some point.
But it turns out Ashley was sitting next to Thomas. She just wanted to prove to him that her family thinks she's invisible, or she's invisible to her family, which was just a very unneeded storyline, I guess, right there. But whatever.
Most of Ashley's storyline is unneeded at this moment.
That's true. But then Amy comes downstairs, and her and Anne have a chat about getting jobs, and Anne said she's going to get the first job she can get because there's not a lot of pickings right now, and to get a job, you need to have a job.
But Amy wants some government assistance.
Yeah, and Anne does not like that idea and tells Amy to woman up. Feminist icon of the moment.
We can get jobs.
Yeah. And that's exactly what Anne does. She goes
down. They go to the hot dog hut or hot dog barn or whatever it is.
Yeah, Anne goes down to the hot dog hut, interviews with a 19, 20-year-old, gets her and Amy jobs. Yep. Amy's going to be Anne's interpreter.
Which is weird.
Yeah, definitely weird, but it works. But during this time, we go to the school and we see Jack is selling candy bars for
$5 a bar.
The disadvantaged youth.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I feel like when I sold candy bars to go to my band and choir trip, they were like $2.50, $3. They were overpriced for sure.
I feel like they were only $1.
They were when you were, and I remember you had like the super cool candy kit where you could buy like Nerds ropes and...
No, we just had candy bars.
Oh, well, at some point I remember there
it was like candy kit. Caramel. It was like plain chocolate, caramel, crunch.
Yeah, they were like the deluxe bars. But I remember someone was selling candy bars for something, and they had like the super cool set where it was actual name brand bars, but you could also buy like Sweethearts, Nerds ropes or something. I didn't get that.
Maybe that was a fancier school.
No, it was our school. But anywho, Jack's selling the candy bars, and everyone's like, what the heck, Jack? No one's going to pay $5 for a candy bar. But Amy's going to get Ben too. She needs chocolate.
Her sugar daddy.
Anything, literally. Anything for his Amy.
But he does, I feel like before that, I think Amy's complaining to him about getting a job, but Ben, like, talks sense into her.
Ben never talks sense into her.
Well, I wrote down, wow, Ben actually says something useful, and I think it was in regards to working.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that might be when he's rude to Ricky.
No,
I don't know. But during this time, Grace decides to help Jack sell candy bars because she's got her whole new reputation as the girl on the pill.
Yeah.
saw the boys line up to buy candy bars. And then Grace and Adrian have a chat. A lot of things moved very quick this episode.
Yeah.
But Grace and Adrian are having a chat, and Adrian's complaining about not having sex with Max yet, but she wants to. So Grace suggests that Adrian becomes a born-again virgin.
Yeah. And meanwhile,
sure.
George is going around to everyone he knows to find out where Anne is working.
Not yet.
It's before the Adrian restoring virginity.
No, there's two parts. First, they get the idea to become born-again virgins, and they actually go talk to Pastor Rick. So right now, we have Ben has a little run-in with Ricky, and he says to Ricky, because this is after Donovan and Leon decide not to adopt the baby, but he says to Ricky, you shouldn't take things on you can't pay for, basically telling him to get lost because he can't financially support Amy and the baby, but Ben can. And then we flash over to George is talking to Donovan at work about not adopting the baby, and Donovan kind of reminds him about all the foster kids, and he had a really good quote.
Yeah.
Talking about the older foster kids, and he said, loving the imperfect makes us love and accept our own imperfections. Which was kind of a moment. And in that moment, George admits that he is struggling with the divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then we get to Anne and Amy at work at the hot dog hut. And as you can imagine, Amy doesn't like it because Amy doesn't like anything.
No. And we get that very rude customer who wants a hamburger, but they don't have hamburgers. So then he's asking for a bunch of other different foods.
Yeah. Wants a kebab.
And like, no, we've got hot dogs.
Yeah. Hot dogs and lemonade or something. Yeah. And then somehow we get to Ben, I guess, joined the band, which I may have forgot. He plays a cymbal.
Yeah, he did that like in the first episode to get closer to Amy.
And Ricky's waiting for him outside of band practice to rebuttal Ben's dickish comment earlier, and tells Ricky that Amy's only with you for your money. So there's some hard truth there too. And then we have Adrian and Grace go to visit Pastor Rick about restoring Adrian's virginity. And he kind of tells her, I can't fix it physically, but every time you have sex, you can just ask for forgiveness, and you're a virgin. So there you go.
Not very helpful.
Not at all. But then we get to Jack gonna go deliver.
He gets mugged.
Yeah, deliver the candy money to Duncan, and he gets mugged in the ghetto.
Yeah.
So someone,
the nicest looking ghetto I've ever seen. Those houses were huge.
Yeah, and the streets were empty except for someone in a hood steals Jack's candy money. During that time, Jack drops his keys and someone steals his truck, but he hasn't noticed yet.
Yeah.
And he continues walking, and two guys come and stop him and ask him for his shoes, so he gives them to him. Also opens up his wallet and is like, here, I have cash too. And those guys were just playing, and they're like, do you think your shoes are cooler than ours? And then they kind of let him know, hey, Duncan was messing with you. He's the one that mugged you because he knows you're messing around with Shauna.
Yeah.
And then he then realizes his truck is missing, and yeah.
Yeah. And then Ricky goes over to Adrian's house.
Mm-hmm. And she says, no way, Jose.
Yeah. Not doing this no more.
And then Max knocks on the door as Ricky's leaving, and he's got a teddy bear.
Aw.
He remembers.
'Cause she always wanted one.
Yeah, remembered she wanted one for Christmas. But then we have Thomas is over at Ashley's house. She's making them omelets, playing Betty Crocker housewife.
Yep.
Super weird. And then Ben knocks on the door and is bringing Amy a tub of ice cream for when she gets home from work. And that's when George is kind of figuring out where Anne and Amy are working. So he tricks Ben into telling him where they're working. And George, Ben, and Leo drive on down to the hot dog hut to see what their ladies are up to. And
no one's happy.
Yeah, Amy's not happy to see Ben. George acts like a dick to Anne. He's kind of condescending and making fun of her job.
Yeah.
Telling her like she can't get any good job, blah, blah, blah. But then she has a savior. And the next customer,
what a kawinky dink.
Yeah, and the next customer, I guess, noticed the cute new counter girl at the hot dog hut. He's magically an architect, a job she's been looking for. Don't know how she didn't find this architect firm during all of her apparent interviewing. And he flirts with her a little bit, gives her his card, and says, "Call me if you want a job," basically.
Yeah.
And super weird. And then Anne tells Amy to take a break, so she's sitting with Ben, and they're complaining about Amy having a job, and Ben basically says, "Oh, Amy, don't worry about a job. I've got you. I'll pay for everything." And Leo's listening to this and turns around and talks some sense into his kid and reminds him that, "Did you work for this money? This is my money. You can't do that. You can't just offer my money out. You don't have any money." And tells him to get a job.
Yeah. Way to go, Leo.
Yeah. And then
finally being a dad.
Yeah, for real. Like, where has this been? These next few episodes, Leo is my hero. But we kind of end this episode with, after George seeing the architect guy flirt with Anne, he is realizing he is losing Anne.
Just now?
Yeah. And that's how he
couldn't have been when he was balls deep in another woman.
Right. But that's how we end episode 19.
Then episode 20, Maybe Baby. Amy's friends come up with a plan to help Amy's decision about the baby.
Yeah, they sure do. But we start this episode again with Anne in a power suit.
Yes. My first note was, everyone has a job now.
Thank God. George is still jealous about Anne, and he has this plan to sabotage her interview.
Yes.
He gets it in her head that, hey, I talked to Donovan about David, the guy she's interviewing with, and he knows him from the local gay guy community, I guess. He's deaf in one ear. He had a figure skating accident. Just let you know, he was not flirting with you because he likes men. And Anne lets that get in her head.
Yes, she does.
But then we zip on over to the Boykovich house.
Yes. Where Ben and Ricky get jobs at the butcher shop.
Yes, Leo is like, hey, buddy, this is how I started. This is how you're going to start. And I'm offering a job to Ricky too, so he can help out Amy. Since you love Amy, you want her to have help. Right, Ben?
Right.
And
then we finally get to meet that great actress from the Drew Carey show. I can't remember what her name is.
Yeah.
But she's the manager of the butcher shop.
Not yet, though.
Soon enough.
Anne's at her interview. It goes awful.
Yes.
She's screaming because she thinks he's half deaf. She sees a pair of hockey skates on the wall hanging and is like, I heard about your accident, and is yelling and makes it quite apparent to him that she is okay with gay people.
Yeah.
She loves gay people. And
she has gay friends.
Yes. And so she walked out because it was quite awful. And then we get to George, or we see Amy alone in the school. I guess we didn't see any school today, which was okay with me. And George has forgotten to pick Amy up from school.
Yes.
So She's calling her friends, Lauren and Madison, who are at the Dairy Shack with Jason.
Where the school is doing another fundraiser. This town has too many restaurant fundraisers for the school. We had the pizza one, and now we've got, what's this one? Ice cream?
Dairy
coffee?
Shack.
Dairy Shack, whatever.
And Lauren and Madison are like, yeah, we'll come get you. Jason will come get you, but then you have to come down to the Dairy Shack, or we have to go to the mall and buy clothes. We can go to the baby store. And they're just pressing Amy too hard, and she lies and says George is there to pick her up. And then she sees Grace and Adrian at the school, and they offer her a ride home, but she says no.
Yeah, because they were also on their way to the Dairy Shack.
Yeah. Then we kind of see what George is up to, and he got approved for a mortgage or something. Oh, he bought a house.
Yeah.
And he's celebrating that. And Donovan's like, hey, did you forget you have a daughter?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I first, Amy did call her dad's office. Donovan answers, and she's refusing his help too, because he didn't want to adopt her baby anymore. But then we get to Amy's at a baby store. And she's looking at baby clothes, particularly a pair of brown overalls.
And the nice lady working there gives them to her.
Yes, but not after Amy pretends she's 21 years old. Her name is Lauren Madison, and she's married and
has one semester left of college, or had one semester left when she got pregnant.
So it's kind of stewing in her head that, like, she might want to keep the baby.
Yeah.
She doesn't know. But then we also see at the Dairy Shack, Jack is there, and he confronts Duncan about the candy bar sales and the fake mugging, and tells Duncan, you're going to have to sell these candy bars for real now, buddy.
Okay.
Yep.
I really do not care for that subplot.
No.
It's so boring.
Then we meet the lady from the Drew Carey show.
Yeah.
At the butcher shop.
Where, Ricky and Ben are working and they're making gift baskets.
And Ricky is much better at it than Ben.
Obviously.
Yeah. But Ricky has a moment where he realizes that this is the Boykovich butcher shop and one day Ben's going to own it, so he needs to maybe suck up to Ben a little bit. Ben.
Yeah. He knows how the world works.
Yeah. But then we have Amy comes home from the baby store. Don't know how she got there, but she walks in and Ashley and George are watching the video that Amy and Anne made at the doctor's office when they found out the baby was going to be a boy.
Yeah, because they were snooping in her room.
Yeah, and they made a little joke about it. I don't remember what it was, but it was kind of, that they're never involved in anything with the baby. This was, of course, Ben recording it. Why didn't they want Ashley and George in the video? But so Amy's obviously upset that they were snooping and laughing at her. And so Ashley and Amy get in a fight. And what did they say?
Par for the course.
Yeah. And they fight about the baby, and Ashley said, you only care enough about this baby to take care of him before he comes, but not after. And then Amy's basically like, I love my baby. Why would you say I don't love my baby? And George reminds Amy, like, you can keep him. Like, it'll be okay.
All of these episodes are just Amy getting increasingly more and more angry.
Right.
And more snotty.
Yeah, and then we kind of flash over to Anne went back and re-interviewed for the job, finds out that George was lying, and now she's making out with her boss and drinking wine. Like,
so weird.
Biggest HR nightmare. But she got the job.
Yeah. And then
some extra benefits.
And then does the whole I've started just referring them as the gang now for these last few episodes since they're all together. Do
Yeah.
they show up to Amy's house?
Yeah, so it's super awkward. Grace and Jack knock on Amy's door and is like, hey, can we talk to you? And then all of a sudden, Adrian's there. And then all of a sudden, Ben and Ricky are there. And then all of a sudden, Lauren and Madison are there. Then Henry and Alice. Like, apparently they all saw people going to Amy's house and decided, why shouldn't I go?
It's so weird.
Yeah. But
Turns out they all concocted a plan where Amy can keep the baby.
well, only Grace and
Woo.
Jack did. And they gave Adrian some credit, but yeah, Grace and Jack mentioned to Amy that they talked to Reverend Stone and said that she can work at the nursery at the church, and included in that is free childcare while Amy's at school.
Yep.
As long as she goes there and helps after school and teaches music lessons, and it's kind of the perfect option for her. And then Grace...
Funny how nobody thought of this beforehand.
Right. And then Grace volunteers Adrian to throw a baby shower, like, the next day.
And then all the other friends are like, and we'll babysit whenever you need us to.
No, they won't.
Nor would I trust them.
Right. And then Amy's happy. Everybody leaves, and Amy's waiting up for Anne to come home. And they have a little moment and cry about, and Amy's like asking Anne permission to keep the baby. And
it's your baby, honey.
Right. And then George and Ashley are snooping around and they high five.
Yeah.
That their master plan worked. That's it.
And then we're on to episode 21. Only 3 to go, guys.
Yay.
Whoomp, there it is. Adrian and Grace plan Amy's baby shower.
Yeah. So this episode starts with Adrian calling Grace, complaining that Max hasn't called her yet. And Grace reminds Adrian that we're throwing a baby shower.
What have you done?
And Adrian was like, I thought you were doing everything. I'll get some chips and dip. And then it kind of shows all the girls in town freaking out because they think they're not invited to this baby shower because Adrian failed.
Everyone is upset they weren't invited.
Yeah, and so we go to Anne calling Grace's mom, Kathleen, to see if she was invited and to ask Grace if moms are invited. So they have a little friendly moment, and they're going to go to the baby shower together. And then we get George telling Anne that he's moving out, and she's very ecstatic.
Yes, she's very, very happy.
Yeah, and then we just kind of have a moment where Adrian's calling girls to tell them about the party, and she calls Ricky and have him invite his foster mom and sisters to go, and he says no, but whatever. And then we have Ricky cleaning, and his foster mom comes downstairs and talking about it, and he extends the invitation to her, but she declines and has a talk with him, reminding him that he's going to be a dad, and he's going to be a good dad because he knows how to take care of himself and others. And it was a nice moment.
Yeah. And then we also find out why Adrian's brother hasn't been calling Adrian.
Yeah, so he shows up to her apartment with a gift that looks like a jewelry box, but you open it up and it's some condoms. He's ready to have sex with her and says that Ruben, Adrian's dad, called his dad, and now they're threatening to send him to military school if he continues to see Adrian.
Or even talk to her. They took his phone away too.
But she's worth the risk.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, well, the party's supposed to start in 30 minutes.
And he's like, oh, well,
I could go. She's like, oh, no, this will be fun.
Yeah. Then we see Grace and Jack are blowing up some helium balloons, and Jack asks Grace, did you just want balloons, or do you want me here?
Oh.
And they kiss, and they didn't tie down the balloons.
Nope.
So the balloons flew away during the kiss.
And then everything's all very awkward.
Well, first we have Grace called the fake ID guy. I don't remember his name. And he's sitting at school in an office.
Of
And
course
she's
he is.
like, hey, can you get some girls to this party? And he's like, on it. And then we have Amy at Ben's house. And somehow she, like, popped overnight. She looked significantly larger in this.
I never noticed. She's always got like 12 shirt dresses on anyways.
Yeah. But Amy and Ben start making out, and no, they can't hear anyone calling their names, and Leo's like, hey kids, just remember, sexual activity can induce labor.
If that's not a mood killer, I don't know what is.
Yeah. But then we show Jack going to Shauna's because he's feeling a little guilty. But before that, we kind of see a scene between Shauna and Duncan where Shauna's like, he's cheating on me. I just know it. And she invites herself to the baby shower. And
so awkward.
So when Jack gets to Shauna's house, she's not there, but him and Duncan have a chat, and he kind of confesses to kissing Grace and everything. But then we see Shauna showing up to the baby shower and meeting Grace and Adrian, and she's psycho.
Yeah. She's like, are you the slut that gave oral to my boyfriend to break up something?
Yeah,
it's
she's
just
like, no.
super awkward.
Yeah.
No, not the slut, just answering the slut's door.
And then we have, well, before that, Grace caught Adrian and Max and goes and shakes Max's hand while he's naked in bed, and I don't know, it was all weird too.
It's all, the end of this episode is all so awkward.
And moving very fast.
Yeah.
But basically, we have everyone showing up to the party, and Amy's not there yet. Anne and Kathleen.
Adrian's not there yet because she's still in her bedroom.
Yeah. But then we see Amy showing up at the party, and she feels a contraction and sort of tumbles on the stairs, drops her phone. It's a mess, but Adrian's neighbor sees her with a plate of chips and salsa.
Homemade chips and salsa.
So she sets down the chips and salsa, and Amy starts eating them.
Yeah. Very awkward.
Anne, the woman, goes and gets Anne and Ashley, and they take Amy to the hospital and call George and stuff and say, I think Amy's in labor. But then we have at the party, it kind of ended, and Ruben comes in and catches Max and Adrian in bed together.
Yep.
And then Max tells Adrian he loves her. She doesn't reciprocate the feelings, and during that time she also spills the beans about Ruben sleeping with her mom. And so, yeah. And then we also, Shauna goes back home and finds Jack there.
And Jack gets dumped again.
Well, Shauna now realizes Jack's a teenager and it's illegal.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's cool, I love Grace.
Whatever. Okay, Jack.
Yeah, and then we're at the hospital, and looks like Amy's about to go into labor, and Ben tells Amy that she should call Ricky to let him know. And so this episode ends with Amy calling Ricky and is like, hey, baby's coming. Come on down.
You want me there? You sure, babe? It's basically his response.
Yeah. And so we move on to episode 22.
One night at band camp.
Do you think they got sued by the American Pie franchise?
No.
Okay, go on.
Because that was one time. This is one night.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, while preparing to give birth, Amy reminisces how, this one time at band camp, she got a crush on Ricky. Others also happen to think back to that time, how different things were back then.
I have a lot of questions, and I'm also glad that my answer on if this was a sleepaway camp got answered.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah. But yeah, we started with a flashback to band camp of Amy and Ricky kind of first meeting.
Yeah, and Ricky's just laying it on thick.
Yeah, so the brass section's practicing marching, and Amy plays the French horn, and Ricky's sitting in the bleachers, and they make eye contact, and Amy stumbles.
And
And
that's when Ricky falls in love.
yeah. And they kind of meet, and he lays down the whole, like, why don't you have a boyfriend? You're so cute card. And yeah, so that was great.
And then during that time, this girl, Gail, comes up to him and is like, hey, Ricky, remember me? And then I also noticed that Gail was on the Vampire Diaries.
Yes, that's who it was.
Yeah.
I was like, at first I thought it was Mona from Pretty Little Liars. And it was like, no, that's not right. But she's someone.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she's Anna, the vampire Anna, who Jeremy falls in love with. And
yes,
she tries to turn him, but it doesn't work
she's
out.
Someone.
Yep.
But yeah, and then the girl walks away, and Ricky's like, I do remember her. I made out with her last year, but she had a boyfriend and she didn't tell me. That's why I'm so concerned about you having a boyfriend. I don't want to be that guy again.
Just like, oh my God, Ricky, stop.
And then after Ricky he wants to hang out with Amy that night, but she's got her solo, and he offers to watch her and hang out after.
Yeah.
And as he walks away, this other girl comes up to Amy and tells her how lucky she is, because every girl wants to sleep with Ricky at band camp.
The best of the best at band camp want to be with Ricky.
Yeah. And then we flash over to Jack and Grace's flashback, and I guess they only started dating that summer. I thought they were like longer sweethearts.
Yeah, and also, when was Grace a cheerleader?
She quit cheering as her punishment to herself for the attempted robbery. Because remember, she got caught.
That's right.
Caught in the cheerleader outfit.
Yes. Yeah. So her cheerleading days lasted for like 2 episodes.
Yeah. So she had made the cheer squad. Jack's the quarterback. He asked her to go exclusive, and she's kind of saying no, but she needs to talk to her parents first. He kisses her. Blah, blah, blah.
All very Jack and Grace cringe.
And then we go over to Ben Boykovich's house in the past, and he's got a full mouth of metal.
Yeah. A lot of braces, and his only concern is getting them off so he can get a girlfriend.
And Henry and Alice don't talk to each other in person. They only IM.
Even when they're in the same room.
Yeah. My whole question, though, is like, I want to know how their middle school system worked, where none of them knew each other until high school. Because, like, their school doesn't seem that big, that they know the grade above. And so why didn't Ben and Amy meet before, and, like, Henry and Alice not know Lauren and Madison, and, like, they must have, like,
I
a
don't know.
middle school system. I don't know.
Unless it is, like, a really big city, and there are a lot of middle schools, but they all wanted to go to this one select high school because it was really good, and they had to apply and get in or something.
Yeah. But then we have... then we kind of jump to modern day time, and Amy is hangry AF. She really wanted a Dairy Shack burger and shake, and her mom, how dare she bring her food from the cafeteria, even though it's specifically what she wanted. But Ricky shows up, and he offers to go get some Dairy Shack because Amy's being a bitch.
Yeah, she says it's the least he can do.
Yeah, and then Amy's freaking out to her mom and iconically says, how do I even know I have a birth canal?
What?
She's freaking out because her mom, they never went to the birthing classes because Amy was blowing it off, and she's like, how do we even know I have a birth canal, and how do I know how to do this? Blah, blah, blah. And then we go back in time to
Adrian?
Amy and Ricky at band camp, and she's practicing for her solo, and Ricky comes in and listening to her practice, and he keeps time on her thigh by tapping on her thigh, and then she messes up and she's like, my lips are dry, and
he kisses her.
They're fine to me,
but I'll go get you some water.
Yeah. And so there was that, and
then is it Adrian?
No. Then we go to the future, and Tom gives Grace's promise ring back to her because he knows about Jack and is happy that they're semi back together. And he's like, this is for you. And then we go in the past, and we get to where she's talking to her dad about Jack and him wanting to be exclusive, and her dad really wants her to play the field a little bit. And I think that's when he gives her the promise ring.
It must be.
That's why it was significant. But then we jump to the future again, and we see Ben's driver for the first time.
We have totally skipped over Adrian's past scene.
We're not. I have.
Yeah, because I have the notes, and it's above Grace and Jack. It's above Amy being mad about this new burger.
Sorry.
It's not a very big scene.
Yeah, I have the finale of Adrian's past. Okay, so...
No, I have before all of that happens.
Yeah, so we get to Adrian's past, and her mom's coming home from a trip, and...
Yeah, with bags of lingerie.
And that's when her mom kind of gives little nuggets.
Snippets that she's seen a married man.
Yeah, and Adrian's disappointed in her.
Calling her out.
And Adrian wants a car and wants to know when they're going to go get this car. So her mom says, we'll go tonight. But Adrian's like, oh, after you can sleep with your married man because that's when his kids and wife are gone.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. So we get that first.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can go back to the present where Amy's unhappy with her burger.
Well, first we see Ben's driver.
Yeah, who brings the burger.
Weird. Yeah, and so she brings this...
Kobe beef burger.
Kobe. That's what Ben kept saying. Kobe beef.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want Kobe beef. I want Dairy Shack.
And he's like, it's not even good beef. And he's like, I don't want that. I want cheap, greasy beef from Dairy Shack.
Right.
Which I get. Sometimes you're in the mood for a bad burger.
And then Amy gets another contraction and Ben passes out because he's a puss.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have...
Ashley being mean to Ricky.
Yeah. Well, first we have... we have Mimsy has a boyfriend. I have written down. So Anne's talking to Mimsy. And apparently she has a boyfriend, but I thought she had dementia.
She does.
She said that she was at her boyfriend's house, and I thought she was moving into an assisted living facility. But
maybe her boyfriend just has his own apartment in the assisted living facility.
I suppose.
But then could be totally not a nursing home, but a more free nursing home.
Before we get to Ashley and Ricky, we flash back to Ashley's flashback, and she's practicing ballet.
Yes.
Which was very nice. Her makeup was off. George finds her practicing at the studio and is like, I knew you were still taking ballet. You're not just getting coffee. So I still want to know, is she still doing ballet? I don't know.
Maybe she had to quit.
Yeah.
Maybe she quit. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how she's paying for it. If her parents don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. But so we have that, and George mentions to her that he'll come get her after he helps a customer who did all new furniture rearranged in her apartment. And that's when Ashley kind of
I think Ashley's already been suspecting.
Yeah. And then we have her one thing that made me think that that's not his first time cheating, because her ballet teacher comes in and George is sneaking around helping my daughter, and then she mentions something about him sneaking around too. So I'm wondering if they slept together, and that's why maybe Ashley stopped taking lessons. Yeah. So we get, as we know, Adrian and George's mom, or Adrian's mom and George we already know they've slept together, so it's kind of connecting the dots of the past.
Yeah.
But then, we flash forward, and Ashley's being mean to Ricky, and Ricky just wants a friend, and Ashley goes, are you even capable of being a friend?
Yeah. She's blaming Ricky for everything that happened to Amy.
Yeah. And so her saying, "Do you even know how to be a friend?" gives him a flashback to when he's talking to Amy about being friends.
Yeah.
And he is talking to Amy about how he wants a girlfriend and not just a friend.
I guess he has enough friends.
Yeah. And he is just laying it hard. And we get like a long flashback of Amy and Grace, or Amy and Ricky. Sorry, I'm reading my notes and saw Grace. Amy and Ricky, and she does well in her solo, and Ricky takes her on a walk after. And it's all Parent Trap camp vibes to me. They sneak into the
cafeteria.
Yeah, and he's going to make her a burger and a coffee. And so they eat and drink and talk, and Amy's telling her whole life story, and Ricky is giving her all the right words. And they move over to the couch to be more comfortable.
They start making out.
Yeah, and it's implied that they have sex.
Yeah.
So my other question is then, because she took a test right after she got home from band camp, I want to know how many days were left of camp. Like, did her and Ricky keep dating at camp? And
did she take it the day after she got back from camp?
She took it like when she got home from camp. So this couldn't have been the last day of camp because you could not know. It had to at least be a week.
Unless the show just doesn't pay very much attention to timelines.
Yeah, because it's like, I feel like if they dated for at least a week or 2 weeks at camp, like, they would have, I don't know, you know what I mean? There'd be more history there. She'd be a little more heartbroken.
Who knows?
Yeah, so that happened. He wants a girlfriend. And then we get present day, and Grace calls Adrian to see if there's an update on Amy, and they decide that it's a great idea for them to go down to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough people that don't belong there yet. I mean, Henry and Alice are there with Ben. Might as well bring in Adrian and Grace.
Yeah. These people at the school invite themselves places a lot.
Yeah. And then in that conversation, Grace tells Adrian, let's take that nice red convertible of yours down to the hospital. So then we get a flashback to Adrian. And we see George went car shopping with Adrian's mom. And he haggled the price down for her. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, you leave. And I guess they hadn't slept together yet because George tells her mom in that moment, I like you or something. And then she's like, you have a wife. And he goes, well, my wife doesn't like me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, then Adrian's mom calls her. She comes down, sees she got the red convertible, and they're all hunky-dory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Tom calls Jack and is like, I know you're with Grace, and I know where Grace is. Come pick me up. Let's go to the hospital. Because they should be there, too.
We need more people.
Yeah. And so they head down, and then Lauren and Madison are talking, and they head down. And then Lauren and Madison then visited Amy in her room, and all I could think was, like, Amy looked way too good to be in labor. She got that nice hair, the side sweep bangs that I want. Not sweating anything. But Lauren and Madison are just, they're kind of realizing that their friend's having a baby and they know nothing.
Typical for a freshman.
Yeah. And then, well, this I guess technically is when we had the flashback to Ricky and Amy having sex, but oh well.
We already knew that happened.
And then Ricky tells her he only makes out with special girls. And then that's when Amy gets out of her flashback and is like, crap. And the episode ends, and she realizes she was bamboozled by Ricky. Yep. So then we get to episode 23, the baby.
The season finale.
Baby.
And unto us a child is born. Amy's baby is born, but she has a hard time adjusting to full-time motherhood. Elsewhere, George and Ashley move out. Spoiler alert.
For real. the baby comes. So we get there, and Ben is in the room with the video camera, of course, and is like, I have the camera. I'm not going to film it, but it's for Ashley. And at that point, Amy's so tired. She's like, I don't care if you're in here. And George steps up and is like, no, Amy, you don't want him in here. Remember? And I was like, go, George. You know how manipulating Ben is, and you remind your daughter that she made a decision.
Yeah. And then Ricky and Ben talk, and Ricky's like hating himself.
Yeah, it was
but
really
Ben
sad.
actually gives him a pep talk.
Mm-hmm. And he says he doesn't deserve to have a baby with someone so nice.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna get his balls snipped.
And Ben's like, dude, you're 15.
That's
you're
funny
gonna
coming
get
from
married
Ben.
later on. And then Ben calls Ricky his friend.
Yeah, it was cute.
And he's like, we'll do this. We'll all get through it together. You know, none of us know what we're doing, but we'll do it.
Yeah. But before that, everyone went and got coffee.
Yeah.
Everyone.
That's why it was just Ricky and Ben left.
I don't know why they had to have this like 15-minute scene of everyone getting fucking coffee.
Gotta fill time.
Like, kind of remind us.
It seems like that these last 3 episodes could have been combined into one, but they needed more episodes to fill the season, so they're like, let's just drag this out.
Like, we needed 15 minutes to be reminded that people that shouldn't be there are there.
Yeah.
So basically everyone that shouldn't be there is there, and they went to get coffee. And then but Ricky's like talking to Ben about being a friend too, and it really pissed me off because like Ricky is just filling Ben's head with that he deserves to be involved in this. And I'm like, Ricky, we needed you to be on our side and remind Ben that this isn't your kid. But he's like, you're going to be a good stepdad, and we're going to like have all these stepdad moments and be friends, and you're going to be involved in this baby's life. And I really needed Ricky to stick on his ground that Ben isn't the father.
Well, maybe Ricky's just feeling a bit stressed out, and he'll change his tune next season.
I hope so. But then people are back from getting coffee, and they realize that they shouldn't be there. So Adrian goes up to Ricky and is like, hey, I got you coffee, and George and Ashley coffee. And they have a little moment, and Ricky's like, hey, I know you're going to be busy, but I'm always here for you. You're going to be a super good dad, and things with my brother didn't work out, so I'm always here for you if you need a call to, you know, have sex or just chat.
And I think she wanted to say that she loved him, but she chickened out.
Oh, yeah. She started saying something and she cut herself off. And then Grace and Ricky talk because Grace realizes she shouldn't be there, and she reminds him, like, you're going to be a good guy. I've really enjoyed getting to be your friend this year. You're going to be a good dad. And then she tells Ricky, you and Adrian love each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then Ricky kind of has like, we do? Maybe we do. And
Henry and Alice are IMing again.
Yeah, but first Ricky apologized to Adrian for being a shit, and then he apologized to Grace for being a shit because he's realizing, you know, I'm a shit because I got Amy in this predicament. Well, two-way street, but he played a factor.
Yeah.
But yeah, Henry and Alice are IMing again, and I think they start making out again.
Yep.
And they realize that they had never made out before, but they had sex, and that making out is what they needed.
Yeah, they skipped all of the other bases and just went to home.
Yeah.
And Grace is loosening up on her celibacy with Jack.
Yeah, she's like, you know,
maybe I won't wait till I'm married, and maybe not till the end of med school, but I just want to make sure I want it at that time, and it's with the right person.
And Jack is like,
ooh, yep.
And then we get to Ben and Leo chatting in the waiting room, and Ben lets Leo know that it's okay to date. And then Leo's like, no, I'm good. Your mom was my one true love. I don't need any more love after this. I'm good.
Okay.
And then he tells Ben, like,
foreshadowing.
And then he tells Ben, like, and I'm pretty sure Amy's your one, even though you're super young. I'm like, stop.
Eye roll. And then labor is happening?
Yeah, we have, we get to when Jack and Grace are at home, and that's when he's telling her, or she's telling him, like, I might not want to wait that long, and they make out. And Tom comes downstairs and serenades them with
So
My
awkward.
Girl, the song My Girl. And it was like a cute moment, but it didn't need to happen.
No, it wasn't cute.
Like,
it was awkward.
It didn't need to happen.
No.
I said it didn't need to, but it was nice, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we get, labor starts happening, and George and Ben are waiting outside of the room, and Ben walks away, but George and Ashley are talking outside of the room, and labor's starting, and the doctor comes out and is like, you guys can come back in, and just let you know, Dad, your daughter's asking for you.
Yeah.
Like, she is.
And Ashley and the camera.
Well, then Anne is like, yeah, it's okay. It's us four again right now, and kisses him on the cheek.
Yeah.
And then the baby is born.
And they invite Ricky in.
Yeah, and at first he was nervous to hold him, but then he did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was adorable.
Yeah, I wrote Ricky afraid of baby, Ricky love baby, and then lol baby hates Ben.
Yeah, you and Ben had come in and meet the baby, and Ben's holding him, and that baby is screaming, and then Leo takes him, and the baby's all good.
And then we have just like a 5-minute montage of everybody coming in and visiting with a
Ben
song.
is the cameraman. And then I'm like, that is so overwhelming and would not be allowed in the real world. I mean,
well, 37, if you wanted it to be.
But, like, no. No. Like, Henry and Alice don't need to come there. Jack and Grace don't need to come. Adrian doesn't need to come. Even Lauren and Madison don't need to come. And then we have, Leon and Donovan come with all their kids, too. It's a good little full circle moment.
Yeah.
And then we have Amy sleeping in the hospital, and Ricky comes in and holds the baby, and that was cute.
Well, we also go back home and see George.
Yeah,
Ashley
he held the baby twice while she was sleeping.
Well,
yeah, but yeah, George and Ashley, they go home and get ready to go to their new house.
Yep, and they break the news to Anne that Ashley's moving out.
Yeah, and Anne's crying, but she's okay with it. And so Anne's crying and saying goodbye to her daughter, and then we see where the new house is.
Right next door.
Yay! And then Anne's kind of worried now. Or she is
she's
really excited. And then they're like, we need to hide the spare keys. And then we get a little break from Amy, and we go over to Adrian's house, and Ruben comes over and lets her know that Max didn't go to military school.
Yeah. And they're separating.
Yeah, he's leaving his wife, but not to be with Adrian's mom, just to be alone. And then we get to the hospital, and we name the baby.
Not before we sing.
Well, they come up with the name, and then they sing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Amy lets Ashley choose the name, and then she decides on the name John, because she's like,
it's simple.
Because this baby's going to have a messed up life. And then fucking Amy keeps putting the last name Boykovich with it.
I know.
And it's like, no. But she's
also like, I don't know if you watch this with subtitles on, but I feel like every time the name Boykovich comes up, it's a different spelling on the subtitles.
No. Yeah. And so, but she still doesn't know if it's going to be Underwood, Jurgens, Jurgen Underwoods, whatever.
Yeah.
But that they decide to sing. So when she says the name John, and Amy goes, that's my name too. Like, and they sing the John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt song. And the parents walk in while they're singing it. And I want to know why Ricky wasn't involved in naming the baby, but whatever.
Oh, well.
And then Anne breaks the news to Amy that you get to go home tomorrow. And Amy has a little freak out, like, why? Why should I be able to go home tomorrow? And then they go home.
And Amy's sleepy and crying.
Yeah, she can't make a bottle.
No.
And we have George and Ashley are at their new house, and they're about to go to school. And they see that Anne's new boss is coming over with a giant teddy bear. And George is like, he doesn't have kids because anyone who has kids knows not to get them an oversized teddy bear, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets pissed off and decides he's going to buy a motorcycle. And Ashley's like, let's go.
Yep.
But yeah, then we have Anne lets Amy take a nap. She feeds the baby. Now Amy and the baby are taking a nap.
And she talks with her boss.
Makes out with him.
And we find out she slept with him.
Yeah. And they have like a weird talk.
She can still have babies.
Yeah, it was a weird talk. So they're like,
which I think is also foreshadowing.
A lot
of foreshadowing this episode.
So weird.
Oh, you can still have babies and you guys slept together?
But also, Anne and George slept together recently, too.
Yeah.
But then we get to the school.
But George got a vasectomy.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
After Ashley.
But then we get back to the school.
And everyone's happy, and it's a repeat of the first episode.
We get some Avril Lavigne again. And yeah, it's a repeat of the episode. Jack and Grace are together. Henry and Alice are together. But they're all friends this time around.
Yeah, so you see them high-fiving, and it's real corny.
But the only thing that's missing is Ricky. And Adrienne is seeing Ricky everywhere she goes, just like Ben was seeing Amy. But we find out where Ricky is, but not quite yet. We get Grace taking her birth control pills right in front of the open again. Just at her locker. And when I was on the pill for my senior year of high school, and like you take that before you leave for school. You know, not in between classes. Ben sees the counselor, and then, as we forgot to mention in the baby shower episode, the counselor's wife, who's the mom from the George Lopez show, shows up, and she's pregnant, so she must have been pregnant before the wedding.
Yeah. And
so Ben sees the counselor and is like, hey, your wife's pregnant. And, you know, Ben's acting like he's a stepdad. And then, Ben says he is a dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you're not. You're a virgin. This is not the Bible. But then we find out where Ricky is.
And he's at Amy's with the baby.
Yeah, she's taking a nap, and he picks the baby up, and they're a little cute family.
Yeah, like, Daddy's here.
Yeah, that was cute. So that was the end of season 1.
Yeah, we got Baby John.
Baby John. But yeah, I liked one thing about this episode is that they didn't drag out the pregnancy for too long. I mean, 24 episodes was little, but they could have drug it out further if they really wanted to, and I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, they drug out these last episodes enough.
Mm-hmm. What else did I write? I tried to write a little, recap of season 1. And as we know, a lot happened.
Did it?
A lot did. And I still am mind blown by all these storylines. And now that we're, to the end of the season, I forget, the wedding happened. And Amy was obsessed with marrying Ben and the plate of wings. And, I'm glad they're kind of getting a little more sane about the marriage aspect.
Are they?
Well, they were for a little bit when they broke up. And the one thing that still stayed consistent is that Ben sucks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens now that John is here.
Yeah, and Ricky's really growing on me. I'm glad the whole job thing happened because it kind of sparked some hope in him.
Yeah, and the baby did too.
Leo Boykovich is a true American hero.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. What are some of your thoughts from season 1?
I don't know. It was fine. It's its show.
You truly think that Shauna sub storyline could have just been?
Yeah, that didn't need to exist at all.
Yeah, Jack didn't need his own storyline.
No, Jack's not a very dimensional character.
Yeah,
he can just be Grace's boyfriend.
Yeah, his fuckboy storyline was enough for me. Seeing him,
it doesn't really match up with him either.
Yeah, he didn't need to get the whole. Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
Too awkward of a character.
I feel like maybe they were trying to hit a diversity thing where they needed like an African American character. And so that was their option.
Well,
and of course,
they've got Tammy.
Oh yeah, I suppose. But I mean, like, I don't know why they needed this whole ghetto, quote unquote, ghetto storyline besides seeing Ricky's dad buying drugs. But they could have done that elsewhere, the batting cages. I don't know.
Yeah. It's very forced and boring.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like the whole Adrian stepbrother thing.
Yeah, that was just awkward.
Yeah, because I don't remember if Max comes back into the picture at all.
I guess we'll find out next season.
Yeah. But yeah. I want another like flashback to band camp. So just for my brain needing more details of what actually
I don't think we get any more.
I know. But if like I thought it like I'm glad they didn't do a full flashback episode. But I'm glad they
basically did.
Yeah, I'm glad we had it though. I don't think we needed everyone else's storyline. I think we just needed
some of it was interesting.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, how was your weekend? Your long weekend?
I didn't do much. I mean, what did I do? Friday night. I don't remember. Saturday. So Nick worked. So what did I do Saturday? Nothing.
We had a party.
Oh yeah, we had a party. So Saturday, yeah, Jen threw a fancy Zoom party, got dressed up from the waist up, curled my hair, and I always forget when I curl my hair that I can never get my hairspray out the next day when I wash it, so my hair is like still sticky even though I wash it, so I have to wash it again.
What kind of hairspray do you use?
Kenra? I don't know. I think I just used too much too. And then I have a zit because I put makeup on for once. My skin was like rejecting it. I heard you guys went all night. I was texting Kevin for a little bit, and he said he wanted
too much longer. I think we all left around midnight my time.
Yeah, he wanted me to log back on, and I was like, no. He asked me if you were still going, and I was like, yeah, they are, but I left.
Yeah.
And then Zoom party.
I can't hear you at all.
Zoom party. And then Sunday.
I hope you didn't need me to respond to any of that because I couldn't hear it at all.
No.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So we had the Zoom party and then went to bed. And then Sunday was a very lazy day. Slept in a little bit. Nick ended up taking a 4.5 hour nap. It was kind of annoying, but I got to watch some TV. What did I watch this weekend?
Sweet Magnolias.
I did watch Sweet Magnolias, and I watched Shrill. That's what I did Saturday. I watched Shrill on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. I like A.D. Bryant, and I like Elizabeth Banks' writing. I was kind of scared where they were going with like the whole plus size show, just making sure they actually do it correctly, and I think it was helpful having A.D. Bryant on it.
Yeah, they can always be a bit cringy.
Yeah, and this wasn't, which was good. Then I watched Sweet Magnolias, and terrible show, but fantastic. It's everything I expected, and they had the worst cliffhanger ending. You haven't watched it yet, have you?
Hope it doesn't get canceled.
I know, and I hope it's not like I was just talking to someone about this, like the Spinning Out show, and how they kind of left a good cliffhanger, and they didn't. But Sweet Magnolias, like, they left a really like terrible cliffhanger. Like, did you watch Outer Banks?
I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, so they have a really good episodes. Like, they did a cliffhanger correctly. But this one, terrible. But I mean, I'm assuming it'll get recast or whatever, season 2.
You never assume anything with Netflix.
That's true. Very true. Shows that shouldn't
canceled Santa Clarita Diet, and that was a cliffhanger.
Yeah, and they canceled. I haven't watched it all, but they had canceled that One Day at a Time that everyone was pissed off about.
Oh,
That got picked up
yeah, I
by
never
Pop.
watched that either.
I watched the first season, I think. But I watched Sweet Magnolias. I watched Shrill. I had rewatched Cheer this past kind of week, and I got Nick onto it, so we finished Cheer. He got super into it. We also Friday we got Olive Garden for dinner and watched Birds of Prey,
I don't know what that is.
the Harley Quinn movie.
Oh, heard it was awful.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's not much to it.
Yeah.
But then yesterday, we took out our 2 used recliners out of our living room, finally, because I hate them. We built a new cat tree. Now my cats own my whole living room. It's beautiful.
My cats just own my house.
Yeah, they really just own me.
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was fine. I watched a lot of Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
I hosted a party.
You did. Your eye makeup was fantastic.
It was hot pink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Last week I rewatched The Umbrella Academy and it was great. Made me more excited for season 2 coming out.
I haven't watched it. I feel like I should.
You really should. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like it's not I know it's advertised as, oh, it's based on a comic book and it's superheroes, but it's much more a family drama show.
So it's not like a Marvel.
Where the people just happen to have powers.
So it's not like the whole Marvel
it's very much
children universe. Okay.
I described this to Brooke on one of our podcasts when I was watching The Hill House, and I was like, The Hill House and The Umbrella Academy are basically the same show, except one is horror, but they both have superpowers.
Okay. Good. Because, there's the whole comic book thing that's made me not watch it.
It's a family drama show where the characters also happen to have superpowers.
What kind of superpowers do they have? It's not like superheroes or just
number 1 is super strength. 1 turns into like a monster. 1 can see dead people. 1 can do this thing where it's like, I heard a rumor that you shot your friend in the foot, and then that person will go shoot their friend in the foot. Another 1 can teleport. I can't remember who I've listed off and who I haven't named.
So is it more of like they use their powers like say they would in the Vampire Diaries versus how they would as like superheroes?
Well, so the origin story is that on this same day in 1989, so many women around the world gave birth to babies when they hadn't been pregnant before, and these kids have powers, and this one eccentric billionaire buys 7 of them and raises them in the Umbrella Academy, where he's basically raising them to be superheroes. But once they all start getting older, they're like, fuck this, and they all go their separate ways, only to be brought back together by the death of their father, and that's where the show starts. His dad has just died, and now we have these 29-year-old people who have been estranged for the last 15 years, and now they're all brought back together, and now something is happening.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted. So there's this couple that moved into my apartment, and the wife is like literally 9 months pregnant, and I see her outside every day walking, and I'm just like been waiting for her just to go into labor in our parking lot, and she was walking again. Because like, I feel like she's walking a lot.
Just
to like
keeping an eye on her.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, and so I just saw her walking again, and I'm like, "Are you inducing labor?" It's kind of like we also have this one guy, older guy, who I think he's single. Like, I think his wife must have died and he lives here. But he parks his car right next to where Nick parks his car. And I don't know why he doesn't park it in the garage, but he parks it outside. And one day I saw him trip stepping up onto the curb with his little grocery cart, and he fell.
Oh.
And it was so sad. And I was like about to
run downstairs. Help him?
Well, I'm like 2 floors up. And so I was about to run downstairs, and I looked out the window again, and he was up. So now I'll always watch him. Like, he goes to get groceries like every other day. Like, I think he just gets like a few days worth of stuff. And so I'll watch him when he parks and to make sure that he gets up the curb okay. This work from home thing has me as like the neighborhood watchman.
I see that. As long as you don't start logging on to Nextdoor every day and complaining.
No, Kelsey, one day at work, because I work in downtown St. Paul, there was like one of the streets closed off with cops and fire trucks and stuff. And I know she follows like St. Paul crime stuff. So I'd asked her, I was like, what happened? And she had told me about this app she uses that will notify like every time there's police presence. And I started logging on and watching it every day. And like it'll talk any single time a person like gets assaulted or anything. And I just had to delete
murdered
that.
By the cops.
Yeah, it's been a day here, hasn't it? It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not to get political into the show, but like, fuck everyone. Glad the cops got fired right away, but like, let's see some charges. And I'm glad our Minneapolis mayor spoke out correctly today.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't just murder people out in broad daylight because you're a cop, but
no, that was nice to wake up to, and I don't even live in Minnesota anymore.
Yeah, like I woke up late today. I usually wake up at like 7:45, but I kept, I guess, snoozing my alarm, and I woke up at like 8:20, and I have to be logged on at 8:30. And it's not like I shower or anything, but like I like to pee and like eat breakfast first, and then log on. And but I had just turned, like we sleep with our TV on, so I fall asleep to Nick at night, so I'll wake up to Blue's Clues or Paw Patrol. And so I turned it back to Good Morning America, and they had like the Minnesota news segment on for a little bit. And I was like, cop murder, like cops murder. I was like, what the fuck happened? But it's not a shooting. And then I went on Facebook and I was like, oh, cool. Fantastic.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, just be glad your Facebook is deleted.
Oh yeah, that's never coming back.
It's like not the time to re-download your app.
No.
Yeah.
I couldn't even. I'd have to start a whole new account. I deleted the whole thing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And like my account no longer exists.
Like I still don't even know what the reasoning for them pulling him over, or he was pulled over.
He was a suspect of forgery.
Yeah, and he was like just sitting in his car, right?
Yeah.
And they pulled him out of his car and killed him.
I think so.
Like aggressively, not even.
Well,
like,
they had him pinned down on the ground, and they were telling him to get up and go back into the back of the patrol car, and he's like, "I can't get up. You're pinning me down." So then they were like, "Stop resisting." He's like, "Okay."
And obviously shooting someone is terrible, but like to literally murder someone by force with your knee and suffocating someone is sadistic. Like, they always say that, like, strangulation and stabbing and stuff are, like, the most personal crime. So, like, you're literally sitting on top of someone until they die. Like, you knew what you were doing. Like, it took 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I have a lot of feelings today.
But he's a cop.
3 cops. 4. Yeah. 4 cops. They fired all 4. Yeah, there was the one guy, and then there was, like, the people around him, too, like, knew what he was doing. And, like, obviously the bystanders that were videotaping were too afraid to go and intervene because they would have been shot.
Well, they were trying to, but the cops watching, like, started to pull their mace out.
Well, right. Like, I saw people are like, well, why were so many people standing around videotaping? Why didn't they do anything? And it's like, okay, this neighborhood in Minneapolis is a mainly black neighborhood. Like, it's Chicago Avenue. And, like, I think more of, like, I don't know exactly, but it's more of a low-income area. Like, if all these people that lived there that were filming would have ran up to these cops, they would have shot them.
Yeah.
Like, without hesitation. And so, glad they got the tape. And body cam footage.
Anyways.
Sorry. I have a lot of feelings today about my state. How's Colorado?
I think we're doing fine today. They're going to open restaurants tomorrow. So that'll be interesting.
Like fully open them?
Oh, no.
Like,
you're only allowed to
patios.
We're doing you're only allowed to have half of your maximum occupancy or up to 50 people, whichever's fewer. And obviously you have to have social distancing, and there's 6 feet between every table, and everything has to be sanitized, and everyone has to wear a mask except when you're eating.
Are they doing reservations required?
I think reservations encouraged if you can.
Yeah, because I know like Minneapolis or Minnesota starting theirs June 1st of patio dining only and reservations required, and it's still only at 50% occupancy of fire code.
Yeah.
But they're they're going to block off some streets in like downtown areas where people don't have patios, so they can make makeshift patios.
I think they're like encouraging cities to do that, but they obviously can't force them.
Yeah, they said in their news conference, like, oh, we're excited to see how creative you can be. Kind of like how a teacher would be like, can't wait to see how creative you are with your project.
Yeah, I think that's essentially what ours is too.
Here's some glitter glue.
Yeah, but luckily they're still encouraging takeout as like your main option, and they've extended that restaurants can do alcohol takeout and delivery too until 2022 to help keep their sales up.
Yeah, I don't plan on making any reservations for anything.
God, no. I'm still nervous to get my hair done on June 20th.
Yeah. Nick and I we're like almost out of food. Like we ordered Applebee's last night. I know I should like order from small businesses, but my apps weren't working, and so it was my last resort. We really needed food. Like we have no dinner food.
Yeah, I know. Taylor usually gets groceries on Saturdays, but he hasn't gone this week.
Yeah, this is how our weekend one was like, okay, we need to go get groceries because I have to get a prescription since I have my MRI for my boobies next Monday. I get the meds to knock me out for my claustrophobia. And so I have to go pick that up. And so I was like, okay, we're going to go to Target. We're going to get groceries. We're going to move all this furniture out. We're going to put together the cat tree. And I was like, we're going to do this Sunday. And then Sunday, Nick slept all day. So I was like, okay, it's Monday. I have off. We're going to at least put together the cat tree. And if we are feeling ambitious, one of the recliners. So we did everything but groceries. So I was like, we're going tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'm happy we still do HelloFresh, although since it was a holiday weekend and ours normally gets delivered on Monday, it's not coming till tomorrow.
Sad.
Yeah, so we ate out too much this weekend too.
Yeah. I have leftover Applebee's wings in the fridge for me. Nick has leftover Olive Garden. We supported
small local business today and got some good Mexican food.
Yeah, like we got Olive Garden on Friday and Applebee's yesterday. Nice. All right. Well,
I'm excited. Plans for this week? Or do you want to end?
I mean, this week. No, I had an interesting day at work, but I won't talk about it because I can't. But I'll probably have some more phone calls to make tomorrow. I have to just work all week. What is this week? June's on Monday. It'll be officially my birthday month.
Yay.
Nick got his car fixed today finally since Christmas.
We have to take ours in.
Yeah, it was $400 and he has to bring it back and get more brakes fixed for another $400. So that's great. Nick gets his hair cut on Monday next week.
Wow.
10:30 a.m. I'm going to go to my doctor after that. Otherwise, if it's nice this weekend, we might just go over to his parents' house and grill. We have some grilling hot dogs. So we'll use our grill. And Nick's pulling up in my neighborhood watch force. He's parking his car. I asked him to go get me a concrete mixer from Culver's. I don't think he did it, though.
Guess you'll see in a couple minutes.
Do you have any exciting plans?
I don't.
I'm going to start season 2 of The Secret Life of the American Teeanger.
Yay!
Yay! All right, well, see you then.
Bye.
Bye.